Hi everybody, this is Mission 9. It's called New Strength. This is Devil May Cry 1 on Dante Must Die difficulty, excuse me. So we're going to be getting a hidden item over here and some red orbs. And then we're going to be getting... well, we already have the Ifrit. That's what the New Strength is. But the Griffin boss fight, it's a very hard fight. But I've got to the point pretty much. And by the way, that was an edit right there. I've actually made that jump from pole to pole. But if you're here's the thing: if you're not good at Griffin like I wasn't before, like tonight in the last video, I said it took me like 25 times. That's exactly what I mean. I had 50 fucking yellow orbs, and by the time I was done, I had 25. But then I reset it, and I didn't save that data. But I did do this fight straight up, and now I'm a lot better at Griffin. So if you're not good at him, this is the perfect opportunity to get good at him, because this fight is a lot harder than the fight in the Coliseum. So if you could do the fight that's coming up, you'll have no problems in the Coliseum, because you get like a third of his, you get like a quarter of his health just gone right away, because he doesn't tank the air raid or your Ifrit meteor attacks. I think it's Meteor, it might be Inferno, but you know the one I'm talking about. In Devil Trigger mode, you hold R1 and press backwards and triangle. Or maybe not backwards, I don't know the move commands, you'll have to consult the menu. But this is the area in which we're going to be fighting this guy. And admittedly, sometimes the camera is just absolutely horrible. But the thing that will save you on the Griffin fight, and by the way, it's an optional fight. I fled from it, like I mentioned in the previous video, like a coward. And I was doing myself a big disservice, and I wasn't respecting the guide, so shame on me. You know, not really, even disrespecting the game too, so that's like a double bad news for Bick, because he wasn't getting better by fleeing from Griffin. Not at all. Now I could say I'm pretty good at him, to be honest, now, after 25 attempts. But that's what it's going to take you to not only beat all the bosses in this game, but you know, a majority of all the enemies too. Practice, practice, practice. It's a cliche and it's obvious, but it's just too easy to flee from this guy when you can. So I'm not going to do it. So what I'm going to do here is just collect all the items. I believe this is some holy water right here. Then I'm just going to go into this area where the Ifrit was, and I'm going to attack the blades and get my 500. I think it's 500 orbs where the Ifrit magic was. It's just money now for you to take. But just one thing about this battle here: you'll do this battle, and then it'll end. And then after that, once you go upstairs a little bit, one of these guys, you'll have one more spawn. Of just like, it's not even a group of enemies, it's just a single guy whom you have to take care of. But for the Griffin, I tried to use the Nightmare Beta, but I didn't care for it too much. So what you should have, though, it's up to you. Do you really depend on the flexibility of being able to double jump and do the air raid if you need to? I think I might have done that, but I personally think the Ifrit's a little bit better, because you're not going to do as much jumping as you are rolling in that fight. Because when he flaps his wings, when he's on the ground and flaps his wings and sends out the dust, then he's going to do electric attacks that are on the ground and they're in the air. But the thing is, this game is very intelligent, if I can say that about it. Like, if it hits you in the air, it knows that, like, it knows like you're probably going to be coming down, so it's very sadistic how this game is programmed. It's just dedicated to killing you. Like, it pinpoints your mistakes, and then it keeps doing it to see if you're going to repeat the mistake. That's actually a little sadistic, but that's actually good for you as a player, because then you can overcome what you're not good at. So anyway, obviously we're going to be fighting, well, you know, obviously if you played the game enough, we're going to be fighting Griffin 3 times. This is the hard. It's kind of hard to say. I would probably say that this encounter is the second hardest. The ghost ship encounter is extremely hard because it's a horrible situation, just a bad environment to fight him on. And then the Coliseum is the easiest because, like I said, you can get a huge chunk of his life off right away before you get that cutscene, which signifies the second half of the fight. So what I do is, you might see me using the Ifrit at first because okay, here's the last spawner that I mentioned. He doesn't tank the air raid as much as he does in the Coliseum. You're still not going to be able to get much damage off of him with the air raid, but it's slightly higher than it is in the Coliseum for that damage. So if you want to start off by doing the air raid, you can, but just be warned that if you're in the air vulnerable like that, he might be disposed to send those electric attacks right at you while you're in the air. But if he's off and doing other things, it's a great way to do it. But I'm going to have my Ifrit equipped, and what else? The Ifrit, and I think I'm just going with the Ifrit because, like I said, I'm not going to be jumping too much. I'll be jumping, but not. I don't need the double jump. It's more important that I can have that offensive jump with the Ifrit, which you do simply by jumping. So here's the fight now. He's on the ground. If you die, at first he's on the air, then he's on the ground after every restart. So here's that attack right there. And the reason I jumped down was because he was going to hit me in the air. Now, see how I'm rolling through these attacks? You have to do it at the second it's going to hit you. Like, roll right through it. And I can't, tell you how to get the timing right. You're going to have to keep practicing. The jump also works, but I prefer to roll. See, I'm doing the somersault, but I think it kind of depends on the environment. If I'm too close to a wall or something like that, I just take what I can get pretty much with this fight, and he tanks everything. There's nothing that this guy doesn't fucking tank. So it's going to be a long fight regardless, unless you know some kind of eclectic trick that I don't even know about. But when he puts his beak down, that means he's going to charge at you. Be thankful for the times that he charges at you because it's a very easy thing to evade out of the way of. When he sends that ball down, wait a second and then jump one time over the flame. When he does that bomb attack right there, the best thing that I know of to do is just to run left or right. You don't want to run backwards because that's where he's ending up. So it's this attack that is the hardest one for me to evade, but I haven't taken any damage thus far. And see how he sent the ball down, it dropped, and then I jumped over. This guy is just a hard enemy. He's very difficult. And regrettably, a lot of your grenades are going to miss because that's just how it works. This game is not as good as it should have been. In that department. It's easily 11 out of 10, but this attack is really, really nice when he does that attack because it would seem like that would be probably the worst move that he does because it's so hard to get out of the way. But they're very generous about not hitting you as long as you do that initial jump. So he's going to do this again. Just jump out of the way one time, and you don't take damage. It's really nice. So the biggest problems I had here were just human error. 5 hits and you're dead. That's the problem here with the full 2 bars of health. 5 hits. It could be different if you're... 5 main attacks of his will kill you. Getting hit by something else that's not a main attack, just like hitting a barrier or electric field or something. But the moves that I was dodging from that was giving me the iframes, that is one of the 5 that will kill you. That would be one of the 5 too. So it really comes down to it's just practice, skill, and minimizing human error as best as possible here. So that's the extent of his attacks. That's all he does, and you want to be using obviously if you want to, Ifrit plus the devil trigger. So here he's going to charge at me again since he kind of roared and Did some animations with his beak. And if all these missed shots hit him, this guy would have been down a long time ago. But the walk-on is just a little bit too wild here. So I have 2 hits left, and he's almost dead. I've got to keep my composure here because there's always a part of me that almost wants to sabotage myself, like against my own wishes. But see how hard this was right here? I almost didn't succeed right there because I got really nervous, but I came through and I succeeded. But a situation like that at the very end, you know, having just 2 mistakes right there would have ended me. But that is the fight. It's tough, but it's really satisfying when you actually do that. And because in your mind you're saying, well, I could just flee from this fight. But if you put in the time and practice, you're going to be definitely a more skillful player. So here are some orbs up here. We're going to have some fetishes to deal with in this venue. There are, I think there's 3 items up here. There's some health on top of this building. And I think we're going to be getting a holy water and a blue orb, I believe. No, just the holy water. Okay, so when you interact with the door, you're going to have these guys coming after you now in the forest, in this rather bosky section of the game. So what I really haven't addressed much is the I believe it's called gun canceling or grenade canceling, where you shoot with the grenade gun and then immediately roll or somersault away. One loop you can get these enemies in. It's not guaranteed. I mean, it's not going to save you from beating this game, but it's very helpful. Is to shoot the gun and then follow that up with a stinger attack, and then keep repeating that process. Grenade gun, stinger, or grenade gun, knock them down, and then stinger. Or after you've knocked them down with the grenade gun, and you think they have not too much HP, there's a good chance that you can get them killed while they're trying to get to their feet with a round from this grenade gun here. Okay, so when you're dangling like that with their trap, you can mash buttons to get out of it. It's pretty good. The fetishes can be very hard when they're devil triggered. Just extremely hard. I mean, it's not like you can't kill them, but see, this guy's devil triggered now. You have to counter devil trigger with devil trigger. It's simple. It's simple logic. And if you don't have devil trigger, you're going to have to make it accrue quickly by taunting and by hitting with your sword or with your gun. Okay, so that area is cleared, and this chapter is not much longer now. Okay, this is the final fight of the chapter, and then we'll be on the Fate chapter, and we'll be dealing with Neo. I think that's how Neo Angelo. But remember, it's the same guy. It's not another Neo Angelo. Okay, what is this? Is that a Devil Star? Looks like a Devil Star to me. Yeah. And now I have, how many of those do I have? 12 of them. And with this many items in my inventory, I can't go to the store and buy more. It says you can only, you can't carry any more of this item. But you can, the thing about that is, although you can't buy it and carry it, you can collect it and carry it and put it in your inventory. It won't say, like, you cannot pick this item up. That's what I really like, because it promotes conservation of items, and it stops the player from grinding for money and then just buying 99 of an item. You know, the way you can do in other games like Ninja Gaiden. Well, not Ninja Gaiden specifically, but like Bayonetta, you can buy as many infinite. I mean, the lollipops, that kind of spamming. Okay, so this final guy. Sometimes there's a few fetishes. Sometimes they never seem to stop spawning. It's very bizarre. It's going to happen in the next chapter, where there's mostly a spawn of about 12, but for once I got like 3, so I was very happy with that. Since the next chapter is one that I don't really like. Oh, wait a minute. I think we're going to be doing one chapter in between this one and then the boss fight with Neo Angelo. Sorry about that. We'll be doing that escort mission with the light. And in an earlier video I was talking about pressing the R3 button and not having iframes, and then I was rethinking that maybe it could be exploited by people, you know, that would be pressing the R3 button to get their iframes all the time. Maybe that was a thought when they had this game. But that is the end of the chapter. So I'm going to see you guys in the next mission, and I hope this guide is helping, but more importantly, I hope everybody is enjoying the guide.